Welcome back to Watching the Throne on the Late Night Chat Network, episode 6. All right, welcome back, everybody. Episode 6 of Watching the Throne, and episode 6 of season 1 of Game of Thrones. A Golden Crown is this episode. And with this episode, Jay, the return of one of your favorite characters, or I guess group of characters, I would say, Daenerys, the Khaleesi, and Drago.
Fucking the Neanderthals over there. You know, I was thinking as you were taking a sip there in the beginning there, as they're playing the music, I should slowly introduce the actual house scotches I have and show you each one by one.
Yeah, you should. How many is there? Maybe you should show.
I think I have 7 or something right now. I think there's 8 or some. I think I'm missing one. I think there's a new one or two. I don't know. I know there's more in the U.S. I think than there is, and I get here, so I'd have to look around for the other ones.
Yeah, start showing them off. Yeah, guys.
I keep forgetting about that.
Yet again, even though Jay never watched the show, he collected the scotches, the scotch collection of the different houses. Now they're actually going to have significance to you. Jay. You're like, oh man, it's House Lannister scotch over there.
You're going to be sitting on my fucking counter now, man. Straight up. And all those guys.
Yeah, so you'll have to show those off. Maybe we'll do one a season you can show off or something. That sounds fun. Yeah, because I was about to say I really have nothing Game of Thrones, so that'd be actually good to see those. That I think I have actually even seen those, so that'd be cool to check out. Yeah, so there you go, guys. You got something to look
dig them out of that closet over there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know where they are. I should have. Fuck, man. It just threw me off. Now I'm just gonna think about next time. I'm gonna have them all ready for you guys, or maybe just one or something. Or
or whatever. You can show them all off. It doesn't matter. We don't have to stretch it out. But I just meant if there's like several seasons, you got several bottles. Yeah, no, show them off next time for sure. Yeah, we'll have to do that. That sounds like fun. So
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe save it for the finale, maybe the live episode that we do or something. If you want to show them off or something, it'll give us something to kind of have some people in the chat up in here to talk about with us, right? So that's really cool, man. Yeah. Are they all scotches?
Yeah, I got no idea. I don't even know what they taste like, to be honest with you. I don't even know what those scotches taste like, to be honest with you. Yeah. So I have no opinion on any of the drinks, but to be honest, it's just it was a cool thing. I thought, maybe, you know what, I'll scoop those up. Who knows how big of a show this will be, not knowing that.
Are all the labels different, like to represent the houses, or okay, yeah. Cool. So yeah, I look forward to that. That's gonna be good. So guys, A Golden Crown, episode 6 of season 1 of Game of Thrones. This was another crazy one. Some crazy shit happened in this one. And as I mentioned at the top of the show there, Daenerys, the Khaleesi, was nowhere to be seen last episode. She was referenced, but she returns this episode. And I feel like these are some of your favorite characters, Jay. Am I off that much by saying that, or what?
Well, they're okay. I mean, they're different. I mean, but I don't know if they're my favorite characters. They're interesting types.
I know you seem to be very interested in them earlier on, anyways, because the fact that Khal Drogo was what's his name there, Aquaman, and
they were pretty much having orgies the first few seasons, few episodes we've seen them in. So, that doesn't hurt either into liking their character, right? So.
Anyways, this episode opens up with Ned wakes up. As we know, he got stabbed at the end of the last episode by Jaime's men. He wakes up with Robert standing over him and Cersei, and he's opening up his eyes and seeing them kind of like looking down at him, and then Cersei starts going right in on him, questioning him about her brother. Where is he? He's a Lannister. Bring him back immediately. And then you kind of, I think you're seeing sort of a trend here, Jay. At least I am at this point in time. She turns the tables quick and starts playing the victim quite quickly here. Like in most situations where she's trying to get her, starts playing the victim. I feel like, and she even gets to the point where she ends up insulting the king, Robert, there. And we just had that great scene with them last episode, right, where they kind of said that their whole marriage is a sham in that sense. But
Yeah.
she starts talking shit about him, taking shots, and obviously Robert is defending his other love, Ned, here, because he had just lost him as the head of the king, and we know that he was very upset by that. So she starts talking rude about him and about him being him as a bad king and everything else, because he seems like Robert's not going to do nothing. And he gives her old slap to the face there, the Sean Connery style. Eh? What the?
Hey, back, what a smack, man. Not kingly of him, is it?
No, he says that. He mentions that after she leaves. He's like, well, that slap to the face wasn't very kingly. Yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, listen, I don't condone hitting women, but she's really going in on him. So at this time, I'm sure that was a lot more common, and not to say that doesn't happen today, but she got slapped. She said some shit. But she took the slap as a champ and pretty much said that she was just gonna wear it as a badge of honor of some sort, right? So she was kind of like, yeah, all right. And then she excused herself because he told her to fucking beat it after that. And he had his talk with Ned here because at this point it was like he had let him down once, and I think at this point in time he was kind of like, let's get a few things straight and let's work things out. This was actually a pretty good approach I think he took with him, because clearly, as always, he's in the middle of this whole Lannisters versus the Stark kind of thing that's going on here, right? And Cersei, though, was playing up that victim part there pretty hard there, Jay, and trying to get this guy pretty much, sentenced to death or some shit, right? The fact that they took a Lannister, she wasn't taking that very lightly, right? So.
And he said, he had even said he had a good conversation saying that it was that Stark was like his only brother. He had two other brothers, and Stark was the only one that was like a brother to him. So it was a different type him too. I seen in this one once again. Just a different side.
Yeah, I mean, he says, listen, tell your wife to return Tyrion. He says to Ned, let's put a stop to all this. Jaime ran off, and Ned wants revenge. He makes it very clear that he wants revenge on this whole situation for what happened. He killed all my men.
Yeah, of course.
Right. And, and then he kind of gets into the whole conversation about how much of a bad situation he's in, because he's like, listen, I am in debt to the fucking Lannisters. I owe them all kinds of money. Like, he's like, I can't do fucking much right now. Like, he's like, I would love to help you out there. He's like, I'm up to it, up to my ears right now with the fucking Lannisters. Like, I owe them. He's like, my hands are tied here, essentially, like he's saying, right? But he says, just bring him back. Nothing will come of you. And you're going to be the hand again. He basically forces it upon him. He's like, too bad. You're the hand again. We'll get over this whole situation. We'll do good things together. That whole fucking spiel, and then he goes into the thing about, like you said, he says he thinks of him as a brother. He sadly didn't love his brothers. So he's like, that's the reason why I think of you as a brother, because I never loved mine. And, put the hand of the king back on. And guess what? I'm going to hunt because I need to clear my head of everything that's been going on now. I'm going to go hunt. I like to kill things. Yeah, I like to kill things in these times of stress or whatever. And you're the king in my place, bud. That's what he says. He's like, you're the king. I'm going to go hunt. Like, do your thing, right? He kind of puts him in this position once again, the kind of, position of power and responsibility. But he thinks he's kind of doing it to kind of ease him back in as a way of kind of like disrespecting him the first time around. Like he sees this as a good thing, but he's leaving him with a lot of responsibility while he just goes off the hunt, right? Like in the midst of like a lot of drama that's occurring, right?
It's just occurred, yeah. It's starting to occur,
yeah. So I think that's kind of, I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. His decision to do so, I get why he did it, but I also feel like,
I'd be taking advantage of that shit.
Yeah, as he makes some moves as king, though. We do get into that here. He does make some moves as the acting king here in this episode. But yeah, that's kind of where we open up the episode at that. Then we bounce over to Daenerys. You see her for the first time since episode 5, or I guess 4. Sorry, she wasn't in 5. Sorry, so we see her for the first time since episode 4 here.
Yeah.
This whole scene, you see her put a dragon egg on top of the fire.
She's cooking the eggs, man. What the heck?
But then a woman comes in, or one of her helpers. He freaks out because she sees her kind of going for the egg and putting it on the fire and trying to lift it. She comes and scalds her hand and burns her fucking hands up because trying to save her from it. Meanwhile, her hands didn't burn. She lifted the fucking egg out of the fire, did not burn at all. So now she feels that, like, you know,
she's the shit.
She's destined for this type of shit. She's a Targaryen through and through. She's got that blood running through her. She's a, you know, maybe a dragon queen or whatever. So she's kind of like,
no more clothes off.
Yeah, no more clothes off anymore. Yeah, pretty much. So then we cut over to Bran.
Yeah, that was a three-eyed crow, man. Eh? What the fuck is with that three-eyed crow that he keeps streaming about?
Yeah, I know. He's having some trippy dreams here, this guy. And we see him after that. You see Hodor is his companion there now. He brings him the contraption that Tyrion had brought him to ride on the horse.
I almost said that in the last episode.
Yeah, so so he brought it to him. I guess we didn't see him last episode. Now that we're talking about it, actually, we didn't see Bran either. Yeah, so they brought it to him. I guess they built it now. Ever since Tyrion left them with that plans, they've now built this mechanism to help him out. And then yeah, they go into the woods, and this guy goes horse riding. It works. The thing works.
It works, man.
On a horse. He's riding on a horse. He's enjoying himself.
Lannister kind of got it going.
Gets a little too comfortable, wanders off a little too far, and then he ends up getting attacked by a bunch of thieves in the woods, right? And Rob, his brother, has to come to his aid, and he takes out almost all of them. But then there's one guy that's got the drop on him. He's making him drop his sword because he got the knife to Bran full fight. And who comes out of the woodworks to save them? Theon. Theon comes and fucking shoots an arrow right in his back. He's a little bit farther off. Shoots
it right through.
And Robert gives him shit because he's like, why are you fucking shooting an arrow? Like, that wasn't a time to shoot an arrow kind of thing, right? He kind of gives him a little bit of flack. I don't think that was well-deserved because the guy fucking saved you, but okay. I get him off guard. Yeah, I get it, but he's, I guess, more skilled with an arrow, so he's kind of judging him based on that because, he's a swordsman, right? So he's kind of like, what the fuck was it? This arrow business here, right? So I mean,
he's showing him up.
Yeah, so that
he was practicing, wasn't he? In one of those episodes.
Last episode, yeah. Last episode, we seen him practicing, right? So that's when Bran was studying, he was practicing shooting the arrow, right? So, I mean, listen, that's his weapon of choice. Arrow can kill a man too, right? As we saw here, right? So he ends up taking them out. The only person that was left alive out of the group of thieves that attacked them was the woman, and she pledges her allegiance essentially to them to kind of like accompany them and help them wherever, however needed be, because she said, those men that was just with them, and she's kind of trying to separate herself from this whole situation here that occurs. So, so they agree to it, and that's kind of where we leave that at. But yeah, like there's also
he was like a tree with the white horse.
Yeah,
with the
there's also. Yeah, exactly. There's also a little bit of conversation prior to them losing him in the woods. Actually, I forgot to mention that Rob and Theon, Theon's giving him shit because he's like, what are you going to do now that your fucking father just got attacked in King's Landing? Like, he's kind of like questioning whether or not they should actually, spring to action as a result of everything going on right now, right? And kind of Rob's kind of being a little reserved about it. He's not really, he's like, I gotta watch things here and everything else. So they're not doing anything at this moment in time, but he was kind of judging his, questioning his judgment, I guess, on that as well. Right. All right. So now we get to Tyrion, back to Tyrion, which is, this is
jumping around a lot right now.
Yeah. This is interesting here. So Tyrion wakes up, he almost fucking rolls off the place that he's sleeping in. Okay. Because he's in that fucking small platform on the side of the mountain. Right.
Jail cell there.
So he slept there all night on the cold ground, no fucking, no blanket, no nothing, right? So he's just sitting there, almost rolls off. He wakes up and he almost rolls off the side, like he has to catch himself. And you see the guard come to the door as he starts freaking out, almost knocks him off again as he opens the fucking door, and the guy just goes crazy. Like, he starts talking to him about gold. He starts patting him down. No gold, no gold. This guy, like, he's kind of like seems like a little messed up in the head. This guy, right?
Just a little. He's smacking it with that rubber. What's that rubber? It looked like some sort of rubber.
Mallet of some sort. I don't know. It's like a
It's some little rubber whip.
Yeah, it starts patting him down, smacking him down. And he feels no goal. He says no goal, no goal. He's freaking out. This guy's trying to say, "Don't worry, I'll get you gold." Like I don't have it on me, obviously. Like let me out of here. He's trying to work his way out of this situation like he normally does. I'm rich. Let me give you some gold. Get me out of here. And the guy's not having it. He freaks the fuck out, smacks him a bunch, and then he leaves. Right. So that's kind of where we left it at this point in time. We get back to them later, right?
Leave him on the edge. This is holy fuck.
Then we cut back to Arya. She's continuing her sword training there in King's Landing. After everything that went down with her father, the sword trainer shows up and she mentions that she's not really feeling up to it as a result of everything that's been going on. And then the sword trainer kind of convinces her to actually use that to your advantage, use that passion, that kind of that feeling anger right now. Like you're never going to be in a good mood when you're in a sword fight. Like he makes that very clear to her. So if you're not going to feel right usually when you're put in these situations. So you need to be able to harness that, right? Like very wisely tells her that. And then he gets her to start training with them. Like he talks her out of that, and about her being able to use her emotions to her advantage in that sense, right? So, which I liked. That was cool. And then we cut back to the Khaleesi. She's in some sort of a ritual here.
Weird, eh?
Yeah, with the Thrakis here. He's eating a whole heart. I think it's an animal heart, I guess.
I think it was a horse heart, wasn't it? They were talking about horse at one point. Oh my god,
that would be disgusting. That would be disgusting, and it's a fucking big heart that she's.
It's just raw.
Yeah, that's disgusting. So she's sitting there, everyone chanting her on. She's sitting in the middle of this ritual of sorts, and Drago's sitting there like a big smile on his face.
Hyped up. Yeah, look at my wife.
These blood's just dripping down her cheeks. She's eating it. All of a sudden, Viserys, the brother, interrupts this whole situation. He walks in the room. He's like, "What the fuck's going on?" He's like, "What is all?"
Like wasted a little.
Yeah, and then he starts talking to Jorah Mormont there. He explains what she's doing to him, that she has to eat the whole heart. And there's this whole scene, where there's a shaman kind of going like it's chanting and what she says that like a priestess, and they say that she's gonna have a boy. Jorah says that she's gonna have a boy. Like I guess this is part of the ritual of being pregnant or something like that. So it seems like the rumors that we've been hearing about are true, or I guess that's the intention. They think that she's gonna have a boy, right? Anyways, so
I think it was on that toughness in her when she fucking swallowed her own puke. That was the best. Right at the end when she was down there.
Right, yeah,
but then she shows herself swallowing. It's like, oh my god! I don't know if that was her puke or if it was just the last little bit that she had.
Probably both, right? Yeah, I think it's probably both.
Oh my god, that shit scared me. But I heard something creaking through the side of my fucking. It was the chair when I went back. Sorry. Did you see? You're gonna get to go back and see me jump.
That
was Aquaman.
That was pretty crazy, Aquaman. Yeah, so that was pretty crazy. Of course. Very proud of her when she doesn't puke at the end, right? You can tell. Yeah, he's celebrating.
That's my girl.
Yeah. So then it cuts from that scene of Viserys kind of witnessing all that and clearly being upset at everything going down. And we already know at this point he's not seeing eye to eye with this whole army and the way he's being treated and everything else up to this point, and the fact that the Khaleesi is now apparently more powerful than him, even though he's supposed to be the king and this is supposed to be his army, but they all look up to her because she's Drago's wife, a situation that he kind of put her in. Let's not forget, right? So
he sold it, bro.
Right. So Jorah then catches Viserys trying to steal the dragon eggs out of the 3 dragon eggs that she has while all this shit's going on. He kind of sneaks away, and like you said, he was drunk, and he's got a pouch and he's trying to fucking take all the eggs. And he says, "Well, listen, I need a ship. I need to buy a ship, and guess what? I need to get ahead here. No one's gonna respect me without the power or the money to do so, or everything else. So I'm just, I need a ship. That one should do that, and I need an army." He's like, "Yeah, but you took all 3." He's like, "Listen, I need a big army." He's just taking all 3 eggs, right? So you know, and then he gets in his face and accuses him of wanting his sister. He's like, you think I don't see what like
the way you look at her?
Yeah, you think I don't know what's going? He's like, I have her. He's like, what the fuck do I care? Like, this man is so vicious about his sit. Like, he really does not give a fuck about his sister. Like, he's proven time and time again in this show, though. Like so far, right? Like he does not care about her. I mean, like it's fucked up.
It's kind of weird, yeah. So I hope, but you know, if she ever does anything, I hope he gets what he deserves.
So he says, yeah, you can have her, you know, and he mentions that he's loyal to her, and he tells him to leave the eggs. Yeah, leave the eggs and leave. Get out of here.
I'll let you walk away, I guess.
Right. Yeah. And you know, he kind of he tries to psych him out, like he kind of sees if he's gonna do something about it. He clearly will. Jorah like makes it clear, like I'll kill you if you fucking try to walk off, right? And puts the eggs down and fucking leaves, right? He gets him to leave, right? He fucks off, right? So
yeah, he was honest. He said he'd let him leave if he put the eggs down.
Right.
So he did.
Yeah, I'll turn a blind eye to this type of situation, right? So
I won't say anything, sort of thing. Because he wants his fucking gold. He wants his fucking money that he was promised, bro. He said that. He's been saying that since day one. He's not been promised anything, and now he's worried that there's a son in her.
Listen, I get why he thinks he's been fucked around too, but
the poor guy doesn't have a wife. He could be a king himself if he had a fucking wife.
You're talking about Viserys?
Viserys, yeah.
No, I get that, but like, let's be honest. Like, this guy has no spine. Like, this guy's a coward.
No, but the thing is, why is he not able to have a wife? Why is he not like? Does he need somebody powerful? Like, can't he just have a wife and all of a sudden he's a king? Because he's considered a king of the dragons, right?
Yeah, but I think the Targaryens have fallen out of favor with a lot of people right now. So it's not.
I gotta watch where these alliances go. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't as easy as like what we're seeing the Lannisters and the like. For these unions to happen between families, they have to have good standing with one another. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like they have to get along with each other. If they're enemies, and you gotta remember the Mad King was Targaryen. Right.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I gotta separate that show.
Right.
This new House of Dragons. I think because I'm thinking, so highly of them in the new show.
No, they're not in.
Yeah, I think I know where it goes wrong, but we could talk about that one other day. I think I know who did. So was the fucking mad one.
You're right. Well, that's what I mean. That hasn't been shown to us as of yet on that show, right?
So, I can only imagine.
So, but the reason that they fall out of favor is because of that. Like the man started killing innocent people because he had voices in his head and whatever else, and that is why like the Targaryens, I think, have fallen out of favor right now, and they feel that they are the rightful heirs to the throne still as a result of all this.
Notice that he does specifically himself,
right? So that's why that's what we're witnessing right now, is that they're the only Targaryens that we're aware of that are still like alive, and they're now trying to make their run for. And the whole reason that he got the Dothraki is because he knows he needs an army if he's going to push back against who's on the Iron Throne currently, right?
Yeah, of course.
So
a big army,
right? But I think the thing he didn't expect to happen was he is not a fit king. He is not a respectable person. He does not. And now that she is with Drago, who everyone in that clan, like all his men, look up to him.
Yes, he's the one.
Right. And now in their society, they give a lot of respect to the Khaleesi, the woman that's with the man, like the only person that's able to wrangle this man. Like, you know what I mean? They're like
the lion.
Right. So I think that's why he did not understand that people would take a liking to her over him as a result of like the hierarchy within their own society. You know what I mean? Like, so it's interesting in that sense. And not only that, Jorah Mormont also believes in her and is backing her, right? So like he gets no respect. This guy's like Rodney Dangerfield. I got no respect. Like that's this guy, Viserys. No one likes this dude.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
But he's cocky, bro. I mean, I like his personality in some ways, but the other ways, it's like, you know what? Fuck, grow up, buddy. Get off the tit.
No, but I would also be upset if I were him. I understand why.
I know.
I understand, but he makes it clear, like he has no power, he has no influence, he has nothing. Like, and without money or an army or people, no one will respect you or take you seriously. So I get it. Like I get he's in a shitty situation.
Yeah.
Like at this point, it's almost not worth it for him to even continue
to be one of like the last Targaryens around. Like it seems like he's almost like if he doesn't have a kid, then there goes the bloodline.
Right.
So he's at least he's keeping it alive somehow.
Yeah, I guess he's banging whores. I guess I don't know.
Well, no, maybe I'm just saying the sister too, right?
Sure.
So,
so anyways, then we go back to Tyrion.
Poor guy, man. He's still there.
Yeah, he's still there. He's trying to convince the guard yet again. He bangs on the door. This time though, he says, "Listen." He's like, he makes it very clear. He gets through to this fucking dummy. Finally, he slows his speech. He's like, have you ever heard the phrase that a Lannister always pays his debts? He's like, and the guy's like looking at him like, he's like, he seems like he's getting through to him, right? He's like, well, I am a Lannister. He's like, I am a Lannister. He's like, I will owe you gold if you help me out. I will owe you.
We have to explain that the queen took it, or whoever, they took it from him when he left and put him in the bag.
I do not have it on me right now. Yeah. He's like, they have it. If you go and let her know that I would wish to confess, he's like, I will be in your debt. He's like, just please do this. Go let them know I am ready to confess now. So he does it. And he gets outside the door. He makes his way outside the door. But then he's back in that room, in the throne room there, standing in front of her, that woman with the tit out and the kid. But she doesn't have the tit out at this moment.
Not this time.
Yeah, not this time. She's sitting there. Yeah, she's sitting there. Everyone's there. Lady Stark's there. Everyone's just standing around. Now he's in the center on trial, essentially. And Tyrion does what he does. He uses that big old brain of his because he's not a big person, right? He uses that brain of his though again, and he starts to. He's like, listen, I'd wish to confess my crimes. He's like, so he starts to tell them stories of all the sins he's committed from when he was a small child. He starts
of every age, yeah.
Some of the shit he's talking about is disgusting too. He's talking about jerking off into like soup. And then his sister may have ate.
May have ate it. Like, seriously, dude.
A naked woman for the first time. And then he like went
banging whores.
Yeah. So he's just going on and on. And then while this is going on, there's a guy on the sidelines that's just got a smirk on his face because he sees where he's going with this. This guy's loving it. This guy was the guy that also accompanied them on the King's Road. Yeah. And last episode, that was one of the only people left standing at the end of that whole kind of that whole thing with the people that tried to kill them on the King's Road, right? So one of the guys that was left standing
with the Queen and Lannister, right.
So he's on the sidelines smirking, he's loving it, he's just listening to this guy, talk about just bullshitting and wasting time, everyone's time, right?
But he also said it. He said it straight up. He goes, "Hey, if banging whores or whatever is such a crime, then yes, I'm guilty."
Yes, but then it gets to the point where they're like, "Enough of this!" Like they're like, well, "No, where are you? We need you to confess to these specific crimes." He's like, "Oh, for those crimes, like I did not do any of those things. I'm just admitting to." He's like, "No, that was not me. I didn't do this. I didn't do that to her son, and I didn't kill your husband or whatever." He's like, "No, I didn't do any of those things." Right? He's like, "Listen, if you're gonna have me here and say I'm guilty of these crimes that I've been accused of, I demand a trial." He's like, and I guess this was his plan all along, was to get them, and then to their chagrin, like she's not happy about this, but she's like, "Yes, you are within your rights to demand a trial." And then she's like, "Listen, the rules of the realm." He's like, I must, because he knows his shit, right? Yeah. He's like, no, I'm allowed a trial now. You've brought me to face you, and I demand one. So, and she's like, okay, yeah. So,
but he said the combat,
right?
There's a certain type of trial,
right? So then, because they start talking, and he could see the direction that it's going, and she's like, okay, plead your case to my son here, and if he disagrees with you, guess what? You're going out the moon door. And this is where we find out what the fuck that thing was that he said the last episode, where he's like, let's make the bad man fly. This is fucking crazy. There's a circle in the ground of where they're standing in the castle. That's literally just a drop, like through the sky. Like you just fucking fly through the door, and that's it. You're gone. Like
okay. I didn't get to see a picture of this castle when they
Right?
walked up to it, right? Because
It is
that
not,
castle looks like it's in the sky, bro.
bro. It does not do it justice when they're approaching it from the outside. It does not look like whatever the fuck it is inside. I'm telling you right now, they did not do a great job of showing this castle.
Like, holy fuck! Like, how do they? You
It
need an
kind of
elevator.
defies all logic, though. That's what's hilarious about it. Like, it's like, how could you have this fucking like how is that castle standing yet at the same time you have this crazy hole?
Hole in the middle. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't, bro.
It's awesome.
It looks like it's floating there.
It's so fucking cool. The moon door is one of my favorite things. I knew this is where we were going when you were watching. I was rewatching the episode. I was like, oh man, the fucking moon door. Because like the first time I watched that, I was like, that's one of the coolest fucking things I've ever seen.
But even the castle wall, whatever that thing, that was so high off the ground. Like if you had to jump down, like seriously, I'm thinking, okay, from that point perspective,
Yeah,
it looks big, but I've never seen yet them walking up to it. I don't think, and I don't think it was in this episode.
No, we saw it them walking up from the ground and they're looking up at it. Okay, but we never actually seen them like descend, like ascend.
Up there.
No, so we don't really know
how big in there deep it is. Yeah,
yeah. So like the way I look at it, it must be on like a cliff or something like that, and like the
side of a mountain.
Yeah, I mean, like look at the platforms. The platforms that Tyrion was in on the side. That's the only way it makes sense to me. Is like
it looks like a fucking tough building to build. Sorry, man. I mean, it didn't look interesting.
No.
I mean, it looked very interesting, and
yeah,
like you said, defies a lot of
right.
But
that's why it's so cool, the moon door thing, right? And the fact that they just throw people through there, I'm like, that's fucking awesome. That's one of my favorite things in the Game of Thrones.
Just fall to your death.
So, anyways, he could see that's where it was gonna go because this kid is obsessed with just seeing fucking people go through the moon, which I get it, right?
Yeah.
Like throw the bad man in, right? So he's like, no. So I'm gonna say instead of trial by combat, right? So then they're like, okay. And she's like, okay, who will be the one to fight him? And some people are fighting over it.
And he wanted a fair one because I mean he was a little guy,
right? So somebody steps up, and he said, okay, so this man will do it. Okay, so and then he's like, well, who's gonna fight for you then? And he's like, well, I would like because this isn't a fair fight. Like, look at the stature of this man compared to this one. It's like, okay, I wish I request a champion in my place then to fight for me. And she's like, okay, sure. So then Tyrion has to like plead to the crowd. He's like, okay, who wants to fight for me? And like no one's saying anything to the point where he's like, oh, fuck, like, no one. Like, come on, like I'll pay you handsomely. Like, I don't even think he says that, but like obviously this is in the cards of him paying off the fucking person, right? So because that's his whole thing. And so anyways, it gets to a point where you're like, well, this looks like no one's gonna help you, so I guess we're just gonna have to do back to like, and then all of a sudden the guy who was smirking in the background, who accompanied him on the journey there, he's like, I'll do it. Some guy just stands up, and then everyone's like kind of shocked, and he kind of like turns around. He's like, oh, thank God. Like,
yeah, he was like so happy, man. He was like, yes.
He's like, yes. So yeah, a man steps up, and we don't get introduced to him even in this episode. We don't call him by name yet, but a man steps up and he says like, I will fight for him. So
yeah. That was pretty cool. Man.
Then it ends there, but we're going to get back there in a minute. But it cuts over to Robert. There's a hunting scene of him now hunting. And, as they're hunting, we're working their way through the woods. He's on the horses and stuff. Then he starts bragging about all his sexual conquests over the years, right? While this is going on, he's talking with his brother that we now know is gay, but he doesn't clearly because he's like talking to him about, oh, yeah, you remember your time? He's like, yeah, maybe.
Making the 8 or whatever.
Yeah, so he's making him feel uncomfortable, and this guy gets pissed off, and he's had enough of his bragging about fucking all the people he's fucked and everything else. And like I said last episode, Jay, there was a little bit of foreshadowing of the lover putting it in his head that he thinks he would be made more of a fit king than Robert is, right?
Yeah. So, and Robert's getting wasted while he's hunting too.
Of course.
He's got a guy carrying wine around from.
So because of all this, the brother gets pissed off and he kind of rides off in the opposite direction. He's like, fuck this, so he fucks off. So Robert doesn't really know why he's acting this way. But I think it's because he's got it up in his head now that he would make a more fit king than Robert would, right? So
I think it was because of that comment too, though, but about the making the 8, because they had that whole conversation about making the 8 when you get to bang one from every kingdom or whatever it was.
Right.
It was called Making the Eight, and then I think he said something to his brother about, "Hey, did you ever make the eight?" And maybe because he's gay, it didn't really
No, but
work
I don't
out.
think he knows that he's gay though. I don't
No,
know.
but I think that's why the brother got mad. I
Oh,
know
yes.
Robert doesn't know he's gay.
Yeah, there was a bit of that. No, but it was because of his answer too. Because he's like, "Oh, maybe." And he's like, or he said something like that where it wasn't like 100% sure, like of himself. And he's like, "What do you mean? Like you're not?" Yeah. I think it was more that, but yeah, he clearly upset him because of the comment.
It was weird. Yeah, it was just to see him take off because I even wrote that down. Why did he take off?
Yeah.
I couldn't get it clear in my head.
Anyways, so then we cut to Ned sitting on the Iron Throne now at his acting thing. And mind you, his leg's still fucked up. He's just sitting on the fucking chair. His leg's all fucked up, bandaged up still, right? And this is where now he's trying to address issues with the common folk, the people that come to him and, try to get him to work things out. And one of the issues brought forward is possibly involving the mountain, because the description of somebody that was attacked on.
So I was wondering.
Yeah, is that's what the conclusion that they come to as well. And not only that, and it sounds like someone the Lannisters, right? And it could also have been Jaime. It could have also been Jaime's men. But it looks like some people have been fucking with people on the road, and the people that they attacked were of House Tully, and House Tully is Ned Stark's wife's house, and I guess that's where they are, right at the castle. That's Castle Tully that they're at with the moon door. Actually, I believe that's that. There you go. I think that's where they're at. Because it's mentioned that the fact that the people that they attacked on the road were House Tully people, and then I think who it was Baelish with him when this was going on. I can't recall. Like there was somebody with him when he was sitting on the Iron Throne. It may have been Lord Baelish. Somebody had basically turned to him and said, "Oh yeah, well that's House Tully's people." Like or somebody, like one of the advisors.
There was somebody there. Yeah, this is after that part about when telling about cutting the heads off, right? And the fish,
Right.
the bag of fish. Yeah, because it was the bag of fish. I think they were thinking it was the people from the certain family there that with the water. With the sorry, what the fuck was it called, man? I can't remember their names now. I'm trying to see if they did. I don't think there was an actual picture of them, but that's who would have left the bag, right?
Well, anyways, in response, Ned, to all this news, because I guess he's trying to figure things out and figuring out that the Lannisters are behind whatever's going on the road, and if they're in direct opposition now of his wife's people, he sends in response 100 men after them to figure out what's going on out there. And again, he's acting king, so he's allowed to, and he basically sentences the man to death, essentially. For them to go and retrieve them, right? And sorry, not only that, he then says he's going to send a raven to Castle Lee Rock for Tywin Lannister, who that's Papa Lannister right there. Tywin is the father.
I was just wondering, that's fugitive, right?
Jaime, Cersei, and Tyrion's father, Tywin Lannister, and so I think it is Baelish or one of them that says it in response to him at this point. They're like, no, but sir, like, he's the richest man in the realm. Like, you can't just call him here like that. He's like, oh yeah, yes I can. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna send a raven there, and we're gonna get him to come here and address his crimes, because I guess he thinks he's responsible for whatever's going on out there, and to answer for his crime. And he says, and he mentions the fact that how rich he is, right?
Yeah.
And he says, gold wins wars, not soldiers. I think it's Baelish that tells him this, and then he's like, oh, really? Then how come Robert is king right now and not Tywin Lannister? And he's like, yeah, so get him the fuck over here right now. So he's had enough. Ned is like, oh, yeah, you put me in charge. All right, where's fucking...
That's it. He's taking it. I'm a manager right now. Fucking right.
Yeah, it's like, who's in charge around here? I am. Not anymore. Yeah. It was like that. Right?
Oh, man.
So, yeah, so Ned's pissed off. Ned fucking flaunts his
power.
Party here, yeah.
He's like, you know what? Okay, I know Robert's gonna stick up for me. So if I make this choice, let's see what he'll do.
Yeah, so
who knows if Robert's even gonna come back from this fucking hunting? I still don't believe he's coming back, and we don't see that yet.
No. So but then he calls one of the most richest, powerful people, one of the Lannisters down there and I'll tell you right now, Tywin Lannister is an interesting character, bro. You're gonna probably recognize the actor that plays him as well, unless you've looked it up already. He's Tywin Lannister. That's the father. Yeah, he's a great character. So I can't wait till he comes into the picture here. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I don't see him yet on here.
So from there, we get back to the sword fight that's going to happen here. He's got his champion now, Tyrion, and this is where the sword fight occurs between the two men. It goes back and forth. The fucking guy almost falls in the moon door. The guy that's fighting for Tyrion, he falls back, and there's like a fucking moment where he's like close to it, and that was pretty crazy. But he ends up stabbing him. The guy who's fighting for Tyrion, stabbing the other guy. He slices up his legs, the back of his legs, and then basically by the end stabs him right through the neck, and then kicks him through the moon door. Fucking gone.
Fuck that shit. Through the moon door, buddy.
And the best here is it was a great fight, but the best is Lady Stark's sister there. No, what happened? Pill time.
Keep going.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put it on mute while you keep talking.
No
I'm just gonna take my pills.
Lady Stark's sister. Then the great line here is when she turns to him and she's like, "You don't fight with honor." He's like, "No, he did." All right. So it just goes to show you this guy's a dirty fighter. He'll do whatever it takes to win, and he doesn't fucking care. And I 100% agree with him. I mean, in that fucking situation where this guy is fighting for somebody else and he doesn't know what's going to come of it, he was just like, I'm going to do anything to fucking win this fight, right? So it's just funny his response to that. He's like, no, he just openly admits he doesn't have any honor. He's like, he did, though, right? And I look at him fucking through the moon door, right? So I thought that was pretty awesome, man. So as in response, they turn to Lady Stark and they let Tyrion go. They say, "Oh, I guess we have to let him go then." And she's like, "Yes." She nods. She agrees. He won fair and square. That's it. So then before he leaves, he walks back. He's like, "You there? You have something of mine." And he throws him this pouch of gold that he came in.
So cool.
And the sickest thing, on his way out the door, throws the fucking gold to the guy, the guard. He's like, "A Lannister always pays his debts," and then he fucking leaves.
Does that strut? He's got that strut, bro. He's got that John Travolta strut going.
And again, why Tyrion is one of my, it's like my favorite character. What a fucking scene, man! And the whole time he's on pins and needles when this guy's fighting. He's like, and he's like, yes. It's like when it happens, like he's all tied up. He's like, fucking right. Like everyone's disappointed, but. What a scene, man. Like the fact that he got out of this situation yet again, like it's crazy.
It was fucking awesome, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's my favorite scene of the episode, probably is the scene.
So they ended up making up for the lack of boobs in this one, I think. They give you a one-time shot. Did you remember what I'm talking about? They give you a one-time. I don't know who came into the room, man, and the chick was sitting there and she showed her vagine shot.
Where? What was this?
It was in the freaking thing, man. I even wrote down a vagine shot. What the fuck?
What in like this scene with the sword fight?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was just after or after Stark tells his daughter that they're going home. Like in between that part.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how you missed that, bro.
I know. I didn't write that one down. I don't think. I think you're right. Yeah, I mean the next scene I have here after this is that stupid fucking Sansa scene where she's speaking to her helper woman there and is rude to her. Then fucking Joffrey, the piece of shit, visits.
Comes in, yes, and he's the one who gets the free shot.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
Yeah, because she's sitting up on the thing, right, getting her shit done, right, and not the old lady, but she's got the one that when they were first in, the two ladies that you said you were just saying. You just mentioned their names.
Sansa is not the one that's naked. No, that's Stark's daughter. She's not naked in it.
No, not Sansa. Not this one. There was some girl with the red hair, the orange hair. They're fixing her hair.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, okay, maybe. I don't know.
Name, man, I can't remember her name. I'm even looking for somebody with.
Yeah,
you can't say orange nowadays. Sorry, what was the word? But it was Joffrey. I think that he got to see the vagine.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember his face. I don't know who it was, man. I'm gonna have to figure this one out. Nobody's got orange hair.
No. Oh, okay. No. I don't.
Am I too far ahead?
Maybe. I don't know. Hold on. But yes, there was a shot for sure in this episode. I know what you're talking about. I don't know when this occurred though. But but yeah, this is a fucking bullshit. This whole Joffrey just fucking acting like he please forgive me. Here's a necklace.
Yeah.
forgive how I've acted lately. And then she's like, there's nothing to forgive. I'm like, holy fuck. Please.
She's he's another. She's another them or whatever.
He's just fucking playing right into this fucking kid, man. And you know, he vows that, you know, he's gonna protect his lady and she's gonna be queen one day. So this guy,
I hate his face. I'm sorry.
Period. I'm gonna tell you right now how I told
That's that guy, Jack Gleason. I'm sorry.
I hate this kid. I hate
his face.
He's such a smug looking motherfucker.
Sorry.
Yeah, he is. No, I hate this guy. He is
cocky, very.
He is one of the most hated characters on any television show, Jay. It gets worse. I'm just gonna tell you right now. I don't care about spoilers. It gets worse. This guy is a piece of fucking garbage. This kid. He is the worst. You know, it's like on the level of like when people hated the wife on Breaking Bad. This fucking kid.
I'm just trying to see what else he was in, man.
I don't even think I've seen him in anything after this. Like, I think that's how much.
Batman Begins.
Whatever. Fuck.
The ones you don't like. Always the ones you don't like.
No, good. No, Begins is good. That's the one.
Okay. Yeah, but he was probably a baby in that.
You know.
Yeah, no, I don't think anything else.
So, anyways, he gets some bullshit scene where he's acting all sweet to her. Whatever. Like, we'll see.
Thinks she's hot shit.
He's hot shit. And this one's playing right into it, right? Sansa, because that's what she wants, right? So. Then we have a scene with Theon as he tries to hit on a woman and gets disrespected yet again. This woman's like leaving wherever she is on. She's on the horse, and he tries to hit on her and tries to like see where she's going or what's happening with her, and then she kind of just, you know, she says
the scene though.
It wasn't that scene, but yeah, he gets disrespected yet again there. But I think she was a redhead, so I don't know. But I don't think she was too naked. She was.
I am gonna find that scene for you guys.
All right. No, it's at the end with the Dothraki celebration that you see some nude people. I think that you're talking about. It must be that, right? I mean, where else would it be?
I don't think the chick was even Dothraki, but it's okay. We'll don't worry. Right. I feel like it's.
So we're coming up to some big things here in the episode, though, man. We're getting to the end here, so let me just get to this. You figure that out, Jay.
I'm gonna keep figuring it out.
So we cut back to Ned. Okay.
Yeah.
He says he's sending his daughters back to Winterfell. He tells Arya and Sansa that he's sending them back, and each of them are very upset for their own reasons because of what they're doing there currently. Sansa, of course, is sad because, you know, she says that, you know, she's leaving Joffrey and everything that's going on in that situation. Yeah. And Arya is sad about, you know, because she's training. She's doing her sword training right now and everything else, right? Anyways, Ned says to fucking Sansa, like, listen, we'll get you somebody that's worthy of you, not this fucking kid, because Ned obviously hates the Lannisters and everything that's occurred with them. So he's like, no, I'm not going to have you guys there. He's getting nervous for everything that's occurred with him as the king, especially with the Lannisters, especially with Tywin coming. Rightly so. He's like, get my kids out of here. So he tells the people, like the Winterfell guys, like his men, like, take them back to Winterfell, get them the fuck out of there, right? And then Ned walks over to the table, starts reading the book.
Yeah, man, about the Mad King shit.
Right. The Jon Arryn book, the book that he found that he took from the library there, the Grand Meister, whatever his fucking name is, the one that he took that has all of the lineages of everybody in the kingdom, the different kingdoms, right?
Yeah. I was trying to listen, and you know what? Some of those names sound like, okay, that's why the Scotches too. I also thought of the Scotches because of that. Something he was reading it, and the way certain things were, you know, when he opened the book and it started saying it.
The way that the language is written. Yeah. There's words in places of other words that normally in regular like English that we know today you wouldn't normally use, right? So so he's reading the book that Jon Arryn had, and he gets to the Baratheon section, okay, and every Baratheon that he mentions says black of hair. Not hair is black. He's like Robert Baratheon, black of hair. This person Baratheon, black of hair. This person black. Then he gets to Joffrey.
Is the way.
Joffrey Baratheon, golden. Does he say head or hair? I think it says head, doesn't he? It's golden
head or something like that. Yeah.
I had trouble hearing that part. You're right.
And I think that's where the crown part comes in.
Okay. No, well, the crown part comes in at the end here. We know that, right? But golden head, I think he says, instead of hair. Golden head or hair? I think he says head.
Yeah, I think it's head too, because I think
so. Going back,
hair is
right. But going back to what they said, Jay, about the seed being strong, that is the clue that I feel that Jon Arryn has been trying to that he was trying to see. I didn't.
So this is where the scene is strong of
We didn't mention
Aaron's family.
Right, that's what I mean. We didn't mention this last episode. The sister, Lady Stark's sister there, the Tully, she said that. That's why she had the kid breastfeeding. She thought that they're like she's like, oh yeah, John,
that he was gonna be the king.
Right. Because before he died, that was what he kept going on about. That's what the Grand Meister, whatever he said to Ned when he went and grabbed that book, that he kept going on about the seed being strong. He's babbling about something. But that's what he was fucking talking about, is the fact that, look at this, every fucking person, and we know even from House of Dragons, the hair color is very significant with the bloodlines, right? Like
so we talking like Stark and Joffrey, or are we talking about?
No, this proves possibly
there's more.
No, this proves Joffrey is whose son? Robert Baratheon's and Cersei.
Oh, son of a bitch!
the brother, Jamie, the brother. That's their son. That's what this possibly means. Yes, you got it. So that is what he came across. Once again, they're trying to hide their fucking infidelities. These two. That's what they. That's
incest. Fucking incest.
That's what Jon Arryn came across.
That's what rules the world is incest. Guys, did you see that? It started from incest.
I just love that you really just came to the realization right now during us talking about it. That you didn't.
Well, no, yeah, I was going off. Like, yeah, everybody does have dark hair.
Because all the Baratheons, if it was by his blood, his seed was strong. Like, that's what they're trying to say. The seed of the Lannisters overpowered the Baratheons in this regard, because that's why that could not technically be, which would mean that he is not the rightful heir to the throne, because he is a Lannister. That is what this man came across.
But this is what this means too. But not when you have incest. Okay, and I don't like to get into this conversation too much because it creeps me out. But when you have incest, there's always something wrong with the baby, isn't there?
Yeah, that's what Mongoloid comes from.
Are we gonna figure this out later on, or like I don't understand? Why does it seem like everybody that's had incest here?
Right, but Jay, for all we know, the Mad King was a child of incest. We already know there's incest occurring on House of the Dragon.
Of course, that's how it starts.
The uncle and the niece are already fucking having kids, right? Or they're trying, right? They're banging, right? She has kids with somebody else right now, but this is why the hair is the trait that you can separate with, even with in the House of the Dragons, the Valyrian, like everybody's got specific hair color for the dominant trait. Their people, right?
But it also makes it like, because Thing is blonde too as well, white haired, is the Targaryens too.
Yes,
which is another thing that's a fucking trip too.
Yeah.
Like, so there's quite, I think Stark's got the lightest, but
theirs is a different blonde. I think the Lannisters is like a golden blonde, and
and theirs is like a white blonde.
A white blonde, yes, exactly. Yeah,
that's a sick look, bro. The Targaryens, I like that hair.
Yeah.
But
so,
okay. But can I show you the picture? I don't know what scene this is from. She was on a wagon. Do you remember now?
I don't know.
I just want you to see it. I'm going to share it right now. Hold on.
Access, yeah.
I have to, bro. Like, it's just killing me. Her.
Yeah, that's the one that Theon disrespected Theon.
She shows the vagine.
Oh, I didn't see. Was that what she flashed him? Okay, I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
you're right.
Here.
So that's the one. That's the one that he was trying to bang. No wonder. Okay, yeah. So that's the one. So that's the one that, as she's going off, he was trying to get with, and then she said some shit to him, and like was like, "That's not happening," kind of thing. Yeah,
because I was just like, I don't even remember what she was in until I seen this picture right now. Because all of a sudden, I just go, "Yeah, that's her." Because bro, the vagine shot killed me, bro.
There you go. That's the one that Theon was trying.
I knew I was right.
Theon was trying to get with it. He didn't accomplish it. You're right. That was that scene. Yeah. So
I pay attention. I've been paying attention, bro. I've been liking this show.
Yeah, the things you pay attention to are hilarious. The scene is strong thing didn't ring a bell with you at all. You're like, what? And then there's machine, guys. Machine. All right. You're paying attention to the important stuff. I like it. So, anyways, let's get to the finale, the final part here, Jay. This is crazy. Sure. So we get back to the Dothraki celebration, guys. All right, that's been going on after she ate the fucking horse heart. This is post eating the heart right now. Viserys is pissed drunk. This is after he's already got caught trying to steal the eggs. Comes back, okay?
This is where
This,
yeah.
this is where he loses his cool. He fucking addresses Khal Drogo, gets in his face, says he isn't wanted. Sorry. He comes up into the ritual, and Khal Drogo says that he isn't wanted there. Why don't you stay in the back? That's what he says to him. Khal Drogo's had enough of him, his fucking asshole comments and being drunk and everything else. Why don't you get in the back there? And he's like, well, the back is no place for a king. He's like, you are no king. He fucking says in front of everybody. So that's it. This guy's fucking lost it at this point, right? And so he freaks out. But
he just wants what he's promised.
That's right. So he says that. He makes that clear. Clear. Yeah. Listen. So he takes out his sword. He gets in his face. He's like, oh, but guess what? You guys can't shed blood in your sacred city. So look what I'm gonna do. So he takes out his sword. He threatens the Khaleesi, his sister, in front of Khal Drogo. Okay. So then listen.
Sister on her belly.
That's right. So he threatens this whole situation. Khal Drogo's like, what the fuck? So then he's like, listen, I just want what I'm owed. I just want my crown, right? He says all this, makes this very fucking clear. He's like, okay, yeah, you'll get your crown. Like he promises him. Now he's singing a different tune all of a sudden. Khal Drogo backs down to him. He's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, like put the sword. Yeah, he's like, okay, you're right. Because it's true. They have some sort of thing where they can't shed blood in this ritual that they're in their city. Like that's I guess
in their own land.
That's right. So he says, okay, yeah. So
other ways to kill you.
Right. So Drogo says, yeah, you'll have your golden crown that men should tremble to behold. He says.
Question though.
Yeah.
Subtitles. This is just made up language, right?
Yes.
So he's just talking gibberish.
That's right. Yeah.
It's not like actual Star Trek.
No. So from there, what ends up happening, and Jay, you mentioned this earlier on, and knowing the outcome, he did get what he deserved. They proceed to pour a fucking. Can
I share the screen?
Go ahead. Oh, you have the screenshot? Go ahead. Yes, please. Yeah, we're gonna have to start doing this. That's a good idea to start sharing some of these images.
Because I look up on IMDb at the same time, and it shows everything from the episode, right?
Yeah. They take a hot boiling pot of gold and proceed to pour the hot gold on his head, obviously fucking burning his scalp completely.
Yeah,
and
oh shit, sorry.
It's all right.
I was trying to get back to they had a better part where it was near the end.
Yeah, they proceed to pour the hot gold on his head.
Fuck.
He's sitting on the ground. It makes some sort of a crown-like formation. That's I think what you're referring to is that. And it becomes his crown, so to speak. Hence the name of the episode, A Golden Crown.
So, I forgot all about that part. Yeah.
And then the Khaleesi, Jorah Mormont and them, they're trying to see how she's doing. She's like, I'm okay with it. He was no dragon. He wouldn't have burned if that was the case, right? So she makes that very clear after learning that about herself earlier on. So she basically says that he was not a fit Targaryen. He doesn't deserve to live anyways because he would not have been a good kid. You know what I mean? She makes that very clear after. This is after being disrespected and turned on like several times already. Like at this point, she's like, I'm done with you kind of thing, right?
I can't deal with it anymore. It's just like, you know what? You made your choice. And she knows she's fucking top shit now. She probably never was top shit.
Right.
But yeah, now she's the top shit and she knows that.
Well, she was a sex object prior to this, right? And now she actually has power within this group, right? So yeah, that's exactly why, right?
It's amazing for her, too. To be honest with you, like to be able to have that authority over people,
exactly.
As a woman in those times,
sure.
Not only in these times, we kind of see it a lot more nowadays. But I like the way they portray those kind of things in history. Like even though this is fake. Okay, they loosely base history, especially when it comes to bloodlines and stuff like that, and how kingdoms and things would run.
There was actual medieval times.
Dragons.
There were medieval times, and there was actual this
people like this. It had to come up.
It is based somewhat on, like you said, loosely on actual history.
History, and this is like before BC or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Like. For them to portray this kind of stuff back then only lets you realize that, you know what? It's normal.
Yeah.
It's part of people's everyday life. It should have always been part of people's everyday. It should have never disappeared, and it should have came back and became, you know what I mean? Like there was a time in history where all that kind of shit was kind of sheltered. You know, even if it's loosely based, but now everybody's opened their eyes again.
Mm.
And you know, understand each other and one another, and then we're pretty good at all understanding one another. So
Right, but in that sense, like I think it's absolutely true that women had to overcome a lot in many time periods,
in
right?
history,
Like,
yeah, and then they keep getting it taken away from them.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and for me to say something like that, and you know it's coming from here, for me to see that and notice it stands out, guys.
yeah.
If you know me and you listen to other shows that we do here, you'll know that this comes from the heart, man. As much as I talk about all this other vagine stuff and all that, you know, breastfeeding, and
No,
but
it's
you know what I mean. It comes from the heart. It's true.
right.
It's nice to see that it's not always been the men.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
absolutely, absolutely, and I think that's why she was one of the more popular characters from Game of Thrones,
and
right?
I'd love to see her progression, even though you know people say that. You know, I hear through the grapevine. I don't. I tell them not to tell me a lot of things, but I hear through the grapevine people are talking that you might not like. Remember, but let me get my own opinion on her.
Exactly. Yep.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like that is one perspective on it. You know, but like you said, as people get power, you know, things change. And but not only that, I think it's like you got to understand where they're coming from a lot of the time too, right? So I think you got to take that into you know, you got to take that into question too, right? Like you got into account when you're talking about these people. Like you see the journey, right? And honestly, like there's a couple of characters on this show, Jay, that I started off hating that by the end I loved, and vice versa.
I'm starting to see that so far slowly.
There is some
It's bouncing.
there's some fantastic character arcs on this show. Some of the best I've ever seen in a show.
Is that what I call it by bouncing back and forth?
Yeah,
Where I'm
like,
seeing, okay, yeah, I like this guy. Well, maybe that guy.
that's what they call the character arc, because you follow the character on their journey, and then by the end, like the whole character arc is like by the end, sometimes they're in a completely different place or a completely different person than they were when they first started, and then you kind of see the progression slowly over time based on the events that could happen to the character in the story. And that is one of that is such wonderful writing when you're able to do that with the character, because it means that they did take you on that journey, and not only on a journey of like witnessing them go through some shit, but emotionally and you know what I mean, like mentally, like
You become attached to these characters.
yes.
I've noticed that. Like I'm starting to notice that. Oh my god, maybe I like this, and I never knew exactly what that was considered or called. And thank you for you know putting that out to me in English that I could understand instead of me trying to guess what it is. No, I'm grateful for that, because
Sure.
there's a lot of things like that you teach me doing all this too, about how to express things. That's why I like listening to you talk, because you're a great talker, you know. And guys, I'm not just kiss. It's not Christmas time, so I'm not trying to be friendly or anything. So
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I get
Christmas is long and gone.
But you know, I owe that a lot to a lot of the things that I've listened to too, right? I've listened to a lot of people analyze and talk about these type of things that I really enjoy, and you know, so I'm not alone. You're not alone in that sense. You know, we all learn from each other, and kind of in that regard, right?
And I went back this little bit, and I realized that, you know what he didn't do when he poured that blood on his head, like you said, no bloodshed, bro.
Gold, you mean, or
Yeah, sorry, the gold on his head, the hot
yeah,
gold. There was no blood.
That's true. That's very true.
So he was able to kill him without even having the friggin'.
It's covered in gold, so
He burned him, right, bro? That shock, that temperature would have put your body in the overdrive. Done.
As soon as that, just a glop of that falling on your face, you're done. Like,
could you imagine having that much gold in a bowl?
That was a whole cauldron of fucking gold, like burning gold.
You know how much that would cost nowadays?
Oh yeah, that was a fucking.
And they just wasted it.
Yeah, I know. Well, they don't fucking care. They're like, whatever. They're fucking.
They're Aquaman. And they're the Frockies, man. They can take on everything.
So there you go.
They can swim.
So what an end to this episode, guys. There you go. So yeah,
I'm really starting to like this show, dude.
Yeah, man.
Don't tell anybody, guys. Don't tell anybody if you're watching. I'm really starting to like it. I probably should have.
So long.
Fuck off. I mean, I should have probably never said anything before. I actually took a chance to sit there and watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, if it probably wasn't for me trying out the first part, this new episode, this new season, I probably would have never got a chance.
Well, there you go. This is why I'm glad we're doing this. It gave us a reason to do it, and that's why at least you're not hating it, because you know, like you felt the same way. Like I said, we tried to do this similarly, not in a sense we were going to do like a whole show, a series of shows of it, but like when we talked about The Wire. But after that, like even though you kind of came around somewhat at the end of that discussion, you didn't jump back into that right away. So like, you know, let's hope we can keep your focus on this one, because I think this one's.
I think it will.
Yeah. So
I think what'll happen is this one will blend in nicely with the next one, the next series, hopefully, that I get to watch of the first, and then, you know, I can have enough of these things banked and recorded with you that we can not worry so much about that. But I honestly, you know what it was, dude? With The Wire, and I don't mean to say this, but it's just I couldn't get into the second season with the water thing. I don't know what was happening. Maybe I didn't give it enough time. Yeah. Shows came back out. Let's hope that doesn't happen this time, because I really want to continue to do this.
Yeah, well,
I'm really liking this. I'm really liking this, to be honest with you. I think I'm liking it better than The Wire.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's hard for me to say. It's completely two different types of shows, though. I'll give you that. I mean, I really, The Wire's up there for me.
I mean, they're both about who can have the highest. Everything's all about who's better than the other.
Yeah. Well, listen. Again, The Wire, along with some other earlier HBO shows, are the reason why we were able to
have TV. We have
exactly this show. This is an HBO show, right? So like, so that's what I mean. You gotta give respect in how Sopranos. These are the shows that paved the way for every HBO kind of drama like this. Whether it's, like you said, whether it was gangster shit or fantasy, there is similarities in the approach that these shows take. Absolutely, right. So I think
HBO is great when it comes to this kind of stuff. So so
my favorite.
They spend a lot of money, man. More than, like, if it is not maybe more than Disney, but you know what I'm saying. They spend a lot of friggin' money.
Yeah.
But they make it worth it.
They do. I mean, look at fucking. I mean, again, like, this is season 1 of Game of Thrones. But look at the quality of House of Dragon, right? So like
totally different. Yeah, I mean, that perception of the height probably would have been a lot better in House of Dragon.
I think as the show goes on, it's going to get better than it is in this season, at least, Game of Thrones. But like, I think the production value and like even the cinematography and like House of
they learned a lot.
Of course, but it's House of Dragon. It's just like now they already know this is an established, popular kind of, you know what I mean? Like they've already had their run with Game of Thrones, but the House of the Dragon, they're coming correctly right from the get-go and kind of like giving you the visuals on that show, right? So I think because they know they're going to make lots of money off of this show, right? Doing it.
That is something that's keeping me. But like I said, I like this sort of. I'm not really
try to separate it. You got to try to separate it now, though, because it is two different things. It really is.
No. I mean, I'm not so big on history in that set. Like, it's sort of like this guy, but I like Nightfall stuff. It's so weird, like sort of like a night show, like a Knights with the Knights and stuff. Like I've seen, I don't know why. For some reason, it can draw me in if it doesn't push me away.
Not only that, like if it wasn't for mostly awful people and relationships and shit, like the actual characters themselves, the unique characters on this show, I probably wouldn't like this all that much, because I'll tell you,
good casting for sure.
Well, that's the thing. I don't love all fantasy. Like there is high fantasy stuff, like where I'm just like, or it's too much magic and shit and things like this. Like I don't dig it. Like I really don't. Like Lord of the Rings is a really hard sell for me. Like I've watched them, but I don't love Lord of the Rings. I love this show. Like this show is they really ride the line. Like you're gonna see as time goes on. I've told you this already. There is magical things that happen in this world. There is dragons. Yes, we already know all these things, right? So like but they're going to slowly unfold them where it's like you really are not taken aback to the point where you're like, I don't believe this shit. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like it really eases you in, because it's about the relationships of all these people at first, and them, like you said, vying for the throne, trying to be the one on top and everything else, right? So it's just like,
and the magical stuff, we even say it in real history. We like to say that things are stuff that they thought that was magical back then that we would probably have an explanation for nowadays.
Right. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say the shit in this show is going to be like that, but it is interesting. Like you said, there is things lost to history that are unclear to us now, and what the fuck they were talking about back then, and with the Egyptians, the extraterrestrials and everything else were involved, and but that's a whole other. Let's not get into that.
Let's not get into that. We're gonna go down the wormhole, bro.
Let's wrap up. It's time to wrap this one up. Yes. So yeah, guys, this is episode 6. Do you have episode 7's name up there? I don't know when the next.
Hold on. I just turned the.
Let me see here. Hold on. I'll get it for you.
Probably get it faster than me, but maybe not. So race, what'd you say it was? 6?
It's going to be number 7 of season 1.
It's called, where is it?
You win or you die. I got it. So next episode, guys, is going to be season 1, episode 7. You win or you die. Episode 7 of Watching the Throne. Thanks again for tuning in once again. Went a little over our usual time here, about 45, 50 minutes around there. We're about an hour 10 here looking like, but that's okay. This was
JT had to take
there's a lot. No, there was a lot to discuss here. I mean, JC is getting more interested. There was a lot more to discuss here towards the end of this episode, as you can tell. This is a really good one. So yeah, so stay tuned, guys. We will we aim to like do it at most for about an hour, these episodes, just because like there's so many of these. We do in them weekly, so we're trying to make them a little bit more easier to digest and kind of watch and have you guys kind of follow the journey with us, right? And as I mentioned previously, we're going to probably try to get some guests on future episodes as well that were fans of this show when it was on the air as well. And we do know a lot of people that were, so we'll see who we can wrangle up for that one. So that'll be really interesting, because then
we're the grand finale. We know who we're going to bring on. I know that.
Just so they can freak out over this one.
No,
Christina, we're talking about you.
So get ready, man. We're on it. We're gonna hashtag her specifically in this one. We're gonna tag her specifically for this episode. So
all right, guys, we'll see you
guys. Peace out. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you, Jay. Later,
buddies.